What's up, y'all? BK back here to do another pickleball video, and today I have one of my best friends in the house. Danea from All Things Pickleball is with us today.
All Things Pickleball, super stoked to be here, literally with one of my favorite players, so this is an honor.
So we're gonna do what I think is Danea's best shot. I think she has the best backhand counter in the game with her two-handed backhand. So we're gonna go ahead and try to learn how to hit Danea's two-handed backhand counter. Let's do it.
Let's roll. So the two-handed backhand counter is literally my favorite shot, and it's really great, especially if you're playing up at the kitchen line and people go to speed up at you. That's probably my favorite time to hit it. Really good for hands battles. That's probably my two spots where I like it the most. So a lot of people want to know why counter with two hands instead of one. So for me specifically as a female, like I just don't have maybe that power that a male has for one hand. So adding that separate hand actually adds a lot more power to this shot for me. Another reason actually why that I really like to have that other hand too is because there's a lot more control when you have two hands on there. So that's kind of why I like the two-hander over the one-hander. Now, where I hit it on the court is typically I'm playing on the right side, and so my favorite spot to actually hit this is to my opponent's backhand that's right in front of me. So I'll take it from here and I'll take that ball down because that's a very hard shot for them to get back. Another spot that I'll put it, especially if they're, let's say they speed up a little bit closer to the sideline, then I can't take it there because it'll go out, so instead I'll go down the middle. So those are the two spots that I really try to aim when I'm hitting this shot. I think one of the things that makes this shot really successful is when you're able to anticipate that your opponent is speeding up. Now, a couple ways that you can look for this is, especially if your opponent's about to take a step back, usually in my mind, if that paddle tip goes down and they take a step back, that really typically means that they're gonna try to rip one at you. So anytime I see kind of somebody step back like that, that's kind of where I to be honest, I kind of cheat a little bit in anticipation that that speed up's coming so I can counter that really well. Another way that you can tell is, especially if you're dinging with somebody that's taking a lot out of the air, but all of a sudden that their paddle tip goes from here down here, that's another sign that they'll kind of speed up off that. And then the last one that I would look for is if someone's taking a big old backswing. Anytime I see someone taking a backswing at the kitchen line especially, that typically means that they're gonna rip it, and that's another time that I kind of get ready for that backhand counter.
So if you know me, you know I usually just use a one-hander. I'm not really great at the two-hander. I've been practicing a lot, but I thought I'll take this time to learn with you guys on how to actually hit the two-handed counter. So what I normally do on this spot is I like to stay here with my one arm out front, but a lot of the times what happens with me is I get caught really close to my body and I just don't get enough leverage on the one hand to really counter with power. And what I see you do a really good job of is sliding away and getting two hands on the ball to really generate the power on the counter. So my question is, how do you actually hold the paddle and set yourself up for the shot?
Yeah, so I kind of have a little funny grip, but basically it's really important that one, you have your left hand or non-dominant hand choked up on that paddle. I like to have this one finger up here because then I can get kind of that extra flick at the end. And then I have my other hand kind of, I would say, an Eastern grip. So I just choke this one up. And then it's really important for me that actually there's not a ton of backswing or big movement back here. That's why I really like this shot, is because I can have very limited backswing but still get a lot of power on it. So when I take back this paddle, it really is still in front of my body. Okay, and you actually pointed out a really important element to this is I have to anticipate moving this way to slide in order to get the ball to my backhand, okay, right? Because I'm not gonna get a lot of power if I hit this shot in front of my body. So it's really important when you're anticipating that speed up, I typically am sliding, and then I wanna be in my position to hit and stop moving when that ball comes to me. So it's really important that anticipation is a huge element to hitting this shot successfully, in my opinion, because again, you really want to get your body out of the way so that you can get kind of that extension. And then my follow through is actually very short. That's another key for me to not hit this ball completely out. When I hit this shot, I end actually my follow through in front because I want to be loaded and ready for another ball to come back. Like if I bring it all the way back here with that backswing, then I'm kind of putting myself in a really vulnerable position if they're hitting the ball back. So I really have everything short and compact when I'm hitting this so that I can be ready for the next ball coming.
Cool, so start off with the Eastern grip on the forehand side, choke up on the paddle with the left, well, as a right-hander, finger on the back, good stability on the shot, and really get your paddle away from your body on the swing. Now I'm not caught here in like that little chicken wing stance that you normally have with the one arm. Much easier to slide away from the ball and counter. As you said, anticipation is probably key with that shot. Now, one of my biggest issues with the two-hander is I never know which arm should be dominant on that shot. So as a one-handed player, most of the time when I put my second hand on there, I use it more as a guidance and actually still let my right arm do most of the work. But with your shot, I really see you push with that left. Which arm do you use more off on your shot?
I literally don't use my right hand. I literally don't use it at all. All it's there, all it's there is for like extra stability, but everything is like my core and then my left.
So basically you're hitting a left-handed forehand with a little bit of balance from your right.
Yeah.
And using that twist to generate the power rather than trying to rip through with the right arm.
Correct.
Again, like if you're really doing that, then there's no point for the second arm, and the second arm would actually hold you back. So it's more important to try and practice this with just the one arm and then use this right arm for balance.
Yeah.
So prepping for the shot, I'm coming in with that Eastern grip, I've got my finger on the back, and I'm coming in to hit this counter. Now, what do I do with this paddle face as I'm coming through? Is that something where I'm trying to really rip a topspin at it? Am I opening the face and really just trying to get a flat return off of it? What do you do with that paddle face?
So yeah, this is a really actually important question. So for that paddle face, I actually have it tilted down. And the reason why is because I essentially want to get on top of that ball and hit down, because I want my opponent, if they're going to return it, I want them to return it going up, right? Because now I'm set up for the next one, because hopefully that's a put away. So it's really important, like when you're doing this, if a ball is above net height, okay, it's important to kind of recognize that you tilt that paddle angle and rip it kind of through, but because my paddle angle is pointed down, that ball's traveling down.
Yeah, so again, if that ball's above net height, which on most speed ups at the net, if you're in a dink battle and somebody's trying to speed up, they're always going to be hitting the ball upward, so you do have the time to slide and counter that ball. But let's say because I have this paddle angled down and I'm stepping away in anticipation of a speed up, and then my opponent goes ahead and kind of dinks that ball or leaves it below the net, what do I do then?
You know, that's totally fine, actually. I would way rather err on the side of my opponent speeding up and I'm ready for that, rather than think that they're gonna dink and be ready for a dink and have them speed up. Because now they're taking me by surprise, whereas here, I'm ready for it, but if they dink, I have a lot of time to recover and just dink it back. Like, that's not that hard to adjust. It is hard to adjust from going from expecting a slow ball to a fast ball, but not from a fast ball to a slow ball, if that makes sense.
That's actually a really great point. It's something I coach all the time. You always want to try and prepare for the speed up when you're at the net. So always anticipate that the ball is going to be sped up. And even if they dink it, if your paddle's up here, you have time to come down and go back into your dink battle. But if your paddle's already starting down here, the second they speed up, you're going to get caught in that chicken wing stance again, and there's nothing you can do about it. So always try and prepare for the speed up, and if your opponent does end up dinking it, you can always just step down and go back into your dink patterns.
Yeah. All right, you guys, I'm gonna share some drills that are gonna really help you practice this two-handed backhand counter. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah! I went too far, that's not me. I went too far.
This is what happens when you play with competitive people.
Lovely. Again, huge shout out to Danea for coming out, hanging out with us here at BK Pickleball. make sure to go follow All Things Pickleball on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, wherever else you're at. Facebook also, I think. She puts out amazing content, so definitely go check that out. Huge shout out to Dink House for hosting us here in St. Pete. Brandon, thanks for having us. And also make sure to subscribe below to my channel. Go check out BK Pickleball on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook.
Killer content.
Also got a lot of good content out. Going to be doing a lot more lessons as well, so make sure to stay tuned for all of that. Anything to add before we get out of here?
Legitimately, if you are ever in the Orlando area, please hit up BK for a lesson. He has fixed so many parts of my game.
I will definitely be taking away this two-handed backhand and teaching it to all my clients as well. So again, yes, if you're in the Orlando area, come see me. I'll be coaching out of Orlando, but until next time, see you later.